So, can you introduce yourself to the panel?
Sure, sure. My name is Swastik Yaduvanshi. I have been born and brought up in Delhi. I've completed my bachelor's in engineering, civil engineering from Jamia Millia Islamia, post which I worked with a development consultancy for about 3 years. Then I started preparing for civil services. I did my master's in philosophy from Delhi University Hindu College, and I am currently working in a development consultancy. My hobbies include hiking and calisthenics and playing sports. And lastly, we're a family of three. Both my parents are into teaching.
Okay, good. So, Swastik, you have been in Delhi for most of your time, right?
Yes, sir.
So, can you tell us three good things about Delhi which you like?
Yes, sir. Sir, it is colloquially said that the Dil Walo ki Delhi people are readily helpful, and if you approach them, so that is one thing I really like. And if you're a newcomer to Delhi, you can approach people and they're ready to help you. Then, sir, the cosmopolitan culture of Delhi and like people from all parts of India and even from around the world are there. So it's a good cultural mix and how an example of how communities, diverse communities can coexist. And, sir, the connectivity part of Delhi, like Delhi Metro being a huge blessing for the last 2 decades almost. So, sir, these are the things I like about it.
Okay, so you are in the one of the best cities of our country, right? And now you are trying to move into the forest service.
Yes, sir.
So you definitely know that you have to live in the forest, right?
Yes, sir.
For most part of the regions, there will be no such accessibility. Also, not facilities like you avail in Delhi, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
how would you cope up with such situations? Like you, if you are caught up in the forest areas of Jharkhand in Chhattisgarh, so how will you manage there?
Yes, sir. Sir, initially it might be difficult and it may take me some time. But, sir, like I've mentioned in my DAF as well, I enjoy spending time in nature, and every year, even across 6 months, I do find time to hike, visit national parks, and so, sir, probably some limited experience there. And apart from that, sir, I learn from my peers, seniors within the academy, which will prepare me for that. And, sir, on the job, I am generally a curious person and ready to learn about new things. So I am open to the challenges and opportunity, and I hope I'll learn a lot through the experience.
Okay, great. So you are from Hindu college, right?
Yes, sir.
So can you name few of your alumni?
Yes, sir. Sir, one of them is in the current government. Hardeep Singh Puri is a famous alumni of Hindu College. And, sir, apart from that, so somehow I'm able to recall only his name right now.
Okay, no problem, fine. So where have you been to hiking recently, if you
Yes,
can recall?
yes, sir. Sir, in February, I visited Meghalaya. We hiked in the Nokrek National Park and the Balpakram National Park. So these have been the most recent ones.
Okay, so can you identify and tell us few of the flora and fauna which you saw in the way while trekking?
Sir, unfortunately, we could not see a lot of animals, um, but we did visit a rescue center in the buffer area. So we saw the Hulok gibbon there. Apart from that, sir, clouded leopard and red panda, jungle cat. Uh, Sir, the apart from that, even tiger is said to be found there, but it's quite elusive. And the Asian elephant. As far as the
And
flora,
Yes, Flora. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So there's, sir, in the outer region, like on the fringes, there's a Bagmara pitcher plant sanctuary. So we came across pitcher plants. Then there is this Clystanthus nocrensis, a kind of orchid flower, which I did not know when I saw, but I had later looked it up that it was there within the reserve. Sir, then apart from that, there were in Balpakram, there was uh, in Balpakram, we saw a few deciduous species as well. Like they were common in, it is common in Delhi. So, so these are
Okay.
the names I can recall. There's this
Okay, fine.
Erica SPP. I don't remember the full name.
No
And
problem. Fine, Swastik. Your name is quite unique. So what is the meaning of your name?
so swastik means fortune or well-being. And sir, another meaning that is associated is that it indicates the four directions. These arms stretch out infinitely in the four directions. Sir, it also indicates the endless cycle of birth, rebirth, birth and death, and the freedom from it if you understand the cycle and get detached from it. So this is what it means.
Okay, so this swastik symbol has it, it had to do with something with Hitler's Nazi party or the symbol of Nazi?
Sir,
Is
the
there any relation?
yes, sir. Sir, the symbol was slightly different. It is tilted 45 degrees and in the opposite direction to the swastik we have in India. And sir, in as far as the meaning goes, like because the symbol in India, like there's a commonality of the Aryan civilization, and Aryan means noble or pure. So they use the symbol to indicate racial superiority. How Aryans or Germans are specifically superior to other communities, Jews for that matter. So, sir, it is different from how we interpret and use swastik in our cultures.
Okay, so recently, your CM, he has been arrested, right?
Yes, sir.
Under custody of ED. So what do you think? Is it justified?
Sir, if the investigation and due process reveals that he has, or the party, as the leader of the party, there has been use of the proceeds from the liquor policy, and like it has been in cahoots with certain leaders from the south as well. So then it is justified. So this is what I think.
Okay, fine. So, suppose I am new to this Vipassana, concept of Vipassana,
Yes, sir.
and how would you like to just introduce it to us so that we will also participate in future, like we will attend such courses. So, how would you entice us for it?
Sir, should I give a pitch of sorts or should I just explain about it?
Yes, pitch up, pitch.
Okay. So, Vipassana as a meditative practice keeps one healthy holistically, both mentally, physically, and emotionally. Like uh, in today's world, when we are distracted and uh, all the time over social media and not really don't have really good relationships, emotional bonds, even though we are connected. Vipassana as a practice helps us being more compassionate and empathetic to our people who are close to us and people who are around us. So apart from the health aspect, it helps build good relationships and bonds. And meditation as a word literally helps one's observation and concentration become better. So it also helps us improve our working ability. If we're studying as an aspirant, it can help us stay detached from the results and focus on the process and give our best and leave the rest to God, luck, or whatever forces are at play.
That's all from my side, Swastik. Thank you. Over to you, Mayank sir.
Shri sir, do you want to come in? No.
Uh, yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. Swastik, your hobbies are very interesting. Tell me, you seem to know about philosophy and meditation. Tell me, what is the connection between forests and philosophy?
Yes, sir. So, sir, within the Indian philosophical thought, forests have been a source of great philosophical contemplation. So, because nature provides us that abode and space, conducive space to contemplate, think, and internally self reflect. So, even in our Varna Ashram Dharma, there is one of the stages is Vanprasth. So, with regard to philosophies of forests, in fact, have helped us answer questions about what it means to lead a good life, and the
Tell me
inter.
how does forest answer that question to you? How to lead a good life?
Yes, sir. Sir, forests and nature, they give us several examples of, if I were to take the example of ants, how to live in communities, or elephants and monkeys were highly social animals. And then, sir, orangutans, like how they use tools. So, sir, all these examples, like of wildlife, nature, so they're examples too, and humans over time, some of our like innovations have been derived from that. And apart from that, sir, we understand that we live in an interconnected web of nature. If we detach ourselves in only concrete jungles, we face mental health crisis and climate disasters and issues of climate change today. So we have to stay connected to forests and nature to lead a good life as humanity as a whole.
Fine. So, I mean, there are so many schools of thought in Indian philosophy.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me how many schools are there?
Yes, sir. So there are six orthodox schools. So should I name them as well?
No, that won't be necessary. Why
Okay.
don't you tell
Um,
me a philosophy which appeals to you the most among those six schools of Indian philosophy?
sure, sir. Sir, Buddhist philosophy and Charvak philosophy
Okay,
appeal.
those two are, I mean, very. I see a very limited convergence between them. Could you elaborate as to what part of you likes Charvak and what part of you likes Buddhist philosophy?
Yes, sir. Sir, Buddhist philosophy, my liking is apparent from the Vipassana practice. Like as an aspirant, because I've been involved in the process, it keeps me detached from the results and focus on my preparation, the process, my mental, physical health as well. And sir, as far as the principles also are for the protection, conservation, or like having a good bond with nature, there are symbols that were used by the Buddha, which were natural symbols, nature-related symbols. Then, sir, Charvak keeps me that we should not probably get too detached from like it is the material world. It is essential to have certain basic necessities and even some enjoyment to a certain extent when that does not come at the expense of anybody else, the environment or nature. So,
Hmm.
sir, that provides a very integrated perspective to be balanced, like have both things.
Can you follow Charvak and Buddhist philosophy at the same time?
Sir, we can, but it cannot be that I cannot follow all the principles because some principles would clash with each other. Ethical materialism under Charvak's philosophy does align with Buddhist Buddhist message of middle path, where it does not require you to like become an ascetic and just meditate away from the world.
Hmm.
So, sir, I do see some amount of convergence between the two.
Fine. We see a lot of, I mean, there is a lot of conversation around East versus West in terms of global values, that there are different in terms of philosophically speaking. Eastern thought and Western thought are different. Where do you see this divergence from? How do you see? How do you reconcile this divergence? What is the core difference between Eastern and Western thought?
Sir, as far as where this divergence starts or can be pointed to, like initially from the very early days, like Greek philosophy and Indian philosophy, Indian philosophy had a more spiritual aspect to it, where even the explanation of matter and the smallest form of matter had a spiritual element, like in Nyaya philosophy. But in the Greek schools, the initial spiritual school of philosophy, like Plato was to an extent spiritual, but Aristotle and then like other philosophers posed that it became more materialistic and concerned with the physical world. Sir, as far as the sir, could you please repeat the other two questions?
And that's fine. I think you were able to answer what I wanted. Tell me something about football. You have seen. I mean, you have interest in it.
Yes,
Tell
sir.
me why. I mean, football is the most popular sport in the world. Why
Yes.
is it not so popular in India?
Sir, I think as a sport which is watched, it is popular, especially in certain regions of India. Like cricket is popular across India. I think the problem is its popularity in pockets, like in cities in the northeast, east, and in South India, largely. So, sir, why is it not popular? Because, sir, I think there we need some icons to relate a sport to. So,
Isn't it a circular argument that you seem to know philosophy? So, I mean, uh, if icons will only happen when the sport is popular, and when the sport is popular, only then people will want to play it. And then, so, what do you have to say about that?
sir, I think like icons do form like I mean to take an example of Vishwanathan Anand. Now that chess is doing so well in India, is one of the reasons like most of the youngsters like attribute their
So, you talked about chess. What is the most? I mean, recently the chess has been a lot in news.
yes,
Could
sir.
you name Indian participants in the recent candidates tournament?
Sure, sir. Sir, in the open category, Domaraju Gukesh won the tournament. Then Ramesh Babu Pragyananda and Vidit Santosh Gujarati. Sir, in the women's category, we had Vaishali Ramesh Babu and Koneru Humphrey.
Fine. Enough about your hobbies. I believe let's talk about forest now. So, what do you know about the Forest Conservation Act, and what are the recent developments in it?
Sir, the Forest Conservation Act 1980 is essentially to limit the diversion of forests for non-forestry purposes and leasing or cutting of forests for private purposes. And so the recent developments, so the amendments, sir, the name was changed, like a preamble has been added, and sir, there have been exemptions given for security strategic areas like close to the border in left-wing extremism areas. Like there can be clearance of forest or use of forest for non-forestry purposes. Then, sir, apart from that, there are provisions for promoting ecotourism, safaris, zoos, and so these are the provisions I can remember. Amendments.
Okay, so you talked about zoos. Recently, there have been some news regarding some private entities opening zoos, and are you aware?
Sir,
Private
if
organizations.
I'm not wrong, you're talking about Bantara project by Akash
Could you
Ambani.
elaborate?
Sir, Bantara project by Akash Ambani is like for animal welfare rehabilitation, like injured animals, diseased animals, and like so that they can be kept safe in captivity, provided food and even for public uh, uh, like to increase the public awareness about wildlife and how can they probably contribute. So, sir, as a
What are some of the other? I mean, this is the age of startups,
yes,
but we see a lot less startups in the forestry sector or in the environment sector. Are you aware of some? And what is the reason for a less number of startups in this domain?
sir, can I take the liberty to name some non-profits, if not
Yeah,
startups?
sure. Why not? Hmm.
So, sir, there is Swecha. They are into tree plantation and like they also did some afforestation around the Yamuna banks in Delhi. And sir, the Wildlife Trust of India, so BNHS is also, although it is a very old organization, we can't classify it as a startup or a
So
new.
I understand your predicament. I mean, you move towards non-profits because usually it is considered that it is not. I mean, this sector may not be the right sector to make money for corporates. But I mean, there are ways to go about it. Can you think of ways in which startups can be income generating in this sector, or some business model regarding some regarding forestry sector or regarding the environment sector?
Yes, sir. Sir, so taking the example of the Forest Conservation Act, they have introduced provisions to promote safari, ecotourism, and sir, private startups and organizations can like rope in local communities and they can build ecotourism packages and programs where both conservation of environment and profit that can be distributed with the local community and the private organizations. So that can be an avenue. So even some adventure sports which are not at the expense of the environment or natural resources. Sir, that could be taken up by a private entity. And sir, like especially in mountaineering, the communities they are adept in the local climate conditions. They help in hiking, trekking. So sir, the community can earn as well. And
Now, I mean, I think you missed a very big sector, which is the carbon credits or
yes,
the green credits, and there are, I mean, there are existing business models regarding it. But tell me, suppose I ask you a very simple question. Let's say I have to construct a bench for a classroom,
yes, sir.
and I have two options: one, a steel as a raw material, using steel as a raw material, and the other is using wood.
Yes, sir.
What do you think is a more sustainable way to go about it?
Sir, probably steel if the production is not from a plant which is in a in an environment which is close to nature and like the products are not sourced by violating environment compliances, like because there is a direct exploitation from trees if you're making it through wood. uh, so I think steel would be a more sustainable if we have also air pollution controlling technologies, NOx, SOx.
So,
Yeah.
in by extension, it means that I mean a renewable resource like non, I mean very widely available resource like timber is not being used to for construction purposes, and which by extension means that people have no incentive to plant it. Don't you think that we are disincentivizing common people to plant trees because they won't be able to use it commercially?
Sir, essentially my argument stemmed from the thinking that trees, if we exploit trees on an industrial scale, then, sir, the private plantations or whatever we come up with, sir, it can set a bad precedent. Like if it is done in a controlled manner, probably we can do it. And yes, sir, it is to a certain extent arguable that local communities might be disincentivized. But sir, there are several other sectors as well. Like a good way could be value addition for especially the minor forest produce, building a forward linkage with urban markets and even promoting
Could
export.
you name some local tribal communities which are directly dependent on forest produce? Let's say in your area, you're from UP, I believe.
From Delhi.
From Delhi, yes. Delhi is like a, I believe Delhi is a totally urban area.
Yes,
What
sir.
about, let's say UP? You
Sir, I'm not aware about the tribes in.
across India's any tribal community which you are aware of?
Sir, there is the betel nut which is used, and sir, if I am rightly recalling the uh, corn tribe, and sir, even in Tamil Nadu, like there is some flower cultivation by the Konda. I'm not able to recall the name of the tribe. In Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, so the Kandh tribe uh, uses MFP from Diasporus melanoxylon. Uh, and so these are the examples.
I think you need to read more about tribes and how
Yes.
they use forest produce. That is it from my side, Swastik.
Thank you, sir.
Over to the next.
Satwik sir, please take over.
Good evening, Swastik.
Please, sir.
You come across as the most confused person I have ever met. Do you agree?
Sir, I respectfully disagree. Uh, and sir, the reason I disagree is that
Did I ask, Swastik? Did I ask you?
no, sir.
Then that's why I'm saying that you are confused. You take maths in 10th, 12th, then you go for engineering, then you do philosophy.
Yes.
Once you take Jamia, then you go to Hindu college. What is this? Are you being diplomatic in your studies? That whatever opportunity comes to you, you will take that I am from this side also or that side also. Which side are you on?
Sir, in my limited understanding, I made choices that are integrated and aligned to give me a good career. After I took science in my school, math science, sir, I chose to do civil engineering because I liked mechanics in physics and mathematics. Sir, after that, civil engineering, while doing civil engineering, I got a good opportunity to work in a development consultancy as an intern. Sir, that motivated me, and like I found it to be a better opportunity, considering my skills as a person, being outspoken and wanting to do something more impactful. And sir, as a choice, it might have been I could have done better probably in hindsight, but sir, with my limited experience, that's what I chose. And so then I made I think a sensible choice to prepare for civil services, because social entrepreneurship and using government resources and institutions to make a bigger impact on through public service, that seemed sensible to me. And sir, philosophy I took up because it was my optional in civil services. It was to do well in the exam and clear the exam. And sir, I'm still working in the same field which I started with, in a development consultancy still. So sir,
So you wasted you wasted government resource of Hindu college for your optional, right? You wasted one seat. Do you know how much does this cost to a person? You wasted one seat of Jamia Millia Islamia for doing your civil engineering. Is that what you are? That once you clear IFS, then you become IS, then you will go to London, you will leave the job, just taking opportunities of this country and making impact for yourself. What impact have you made? Tell me one impact that you have made in your entire life.
sir, should I answer the previous questions?
No. Just tell me what impact have you made?
Okay, sir. Sir, through my work, like because it directly involves working for sustainable development goals, like right now I'm handling a campaign on adoption of rooftop solar panels. So in tier 2, tier 3 cities through digital platforms, One India, Daily Hunt and Josh, we are promoting the adoption of rooftop solar panels. So that is something I believe impactful and a small contribution probably to India's renewable energy and climate commitments. So apart from that, I have been volunteering for a certain amount of time for interfaith harmony with a local non-profit, Sir Dharm Samvad. And also, sir, I take care of animals around my house, cats and dogs. And sir, even meditating and doing vipassana is in a way to build healthier bonds with animals, people, being more empathetic and compassionate. So I think these are the ways I have created a small impact.
So you should have written that you have done an MBA because you speak well. You have not done a single word promoting renewable energy. Do you know that tier 2, tier 3 cities still don't have power lines? They don't get electricity during summer. Do
Sir,
you?
shall I answer, sir?
Yes.
Sir, yes, in certain cities there is a gap. So this is the reason that rooftop solar adoption can be savior because localized production of electricity on a rooftop panel creates energy independence and affordable energy security can be possible for even very vulnerable households. Based on the stories we highlighted of beneficiaries of Gujarat Mahila Housing Trust, like very small women workers were empowered. Their electricity bill dropped by more than one third, and they had better regular access to power.
What do you know about what is the India's stand on nuclear energy?
Sir, India's stand on nuclear energy is within the larger framework of promoting non-fossil fuel energy. And we are have a three-stage nuclear program as suggested by Homi Baba. We are moving on to the next stage of fast breeder reactors. Right now, we are operating pressurized heavy water reactors to produce energy from nuclear fission. And so the last would be a sustainable cycle from thorium, which we envision we can achieve in the future, sir.
Do you know that France is getting rid of nuclear power? Are you aware of it?
Sir, not particularly about France, but certain countries in Europe are moving.
What are their reasons for getting rid of it?
Sir, I think there are a couple of reasons. One is that now, like to take the example of Germany, their investment into wind, even solar. Sir, there are renewable alternatives. Hydrogen now is coming up, and so the accidents that have took place in the past have also played a role. The Fukushima disaster and Chernobyl, although it happened a long time back, but it still serves as an example. And sir, the third reason could be that the large scale public acceptance of renewable energy alternatives. Like the public views nuclear energy with a very skeptical eye and the dangers associated with it. So I think these might be the
How
reasons.
many years have you been to any tier 2 city, Swastik?
Sir,
Have you
I've not visited. Sir, I've not visited tier two city regularly, but because I like to travel, so sir, it has been in transit. Like I've spent limited time, sir.
tier 3 city? Have you stayed anywhere in tier 2 or tier 3?
Sir, recently I had gone to Omkareshwar with my parents. So for there we stayed for one night. So this is the most recent example.
So that is the
Know
most
that
Bharat you are. Otherwise, you live in Delhi in your own cocoon, and then you talk about sustainable energy. You give rooftop solar to people who don't have roofs. Am I right, Swastik?
Sir, my experience might be limited, I will be honest. But, sir, as much as I could, and in the future, sir, I can make up for that. And
Okay, Swastik, tell me something about why is this menace of PMLA Act?
Sir,
It has
just
been
can I
read.
just take a second and type this? Sorry.
Okay.
Uh,
Are you aware of PMLA Act?
yes, sir. I have read about it.
What is the difference between PMLA when you get jailed in PMLA or in some other act? What is the difference?
Sir, I'm not able to recall the specific difference, but I know that it is to prevent money laundering and there can be confiscation and forfeiting of assets that are
So
accumulated.
when your former chief minister is jailed under PMLA, so you should, don't you think you should be aware of that? Why is he inside and why isn't he getting bail?
Sir, I know that because he has taken proceeds from the giving licenses for liquor, and there is a alleged liquor scam. So, because of the proceeds, and like he can be abetted. He's a co-abetter within the case in a way. So he has been uh, involved in the investigation as well. For
Okay.
conviction, he's been tried.
What are your views on one nation, one election?
Sir, one nation, one election can be a convenient way to conduct elections so that representatives in parliament, legislative assemblies can get more time to work in their own constituencies and participate in the parliament legislative assemblies, which has been declining in the recent past, like the time spent on debates and discussions on bills and the number of days the parliament sits. So, sir, there can be more activity there indirectly. And, sir, the mobilization of resources repetitively across the year for elections, although it would be a very big exercise in one go, initial 2, 3 times we do it, it will be difficult. But once we standardize, have an SOP and like do it properly, we can carry it forward.
Swastik, sorry to interrupt. You have
Yes.
not read a thing about this, right? There is a report which is being presented by parliamentary committee which has specifically told a lot of things and you have not said a single thing. You're just blabbering, just saying random things that we will have 1, 2, 3 times. Is it a joke? One nation, one election. Do you think?
Sir, I have not read the report, but I have read about one nation, one election in my preparation, and I was explaining based on that. Sir, I'll read the.
Are you aware of Manipur issue?
Yes, sir, I have read about in the papers.
What is it? Why are people fighting and dying there?
Yes, sir. Sir, it has started out in the past, like there has been a clash between the Zomi and certain Naga tribes and the Meiti community within Manipur. Meiti is considered affluent or and is in majority, and like the other scheduled tribes who have rights under the constitutional scheme, Schedule 5, Schedule 6. And sir, so with Métis being it was in discussion that Métis might be given similar rights and access to resources. Sir, they were against that. There has been clash because the Zukuki Zomi and some Naga tribes see it as discrimination because like they have limited access to resources and representation within the political institutions. So, sir, that conflict has spiraled out. And, sir, apart from that, even the like state government not being able to manage the issue properly, some clashes between the police and, as explained in the news, with the central forces and people not trusting the forces enough. So, sir, these are other conflicts that have arisen in the recent time as well.
Okay, my last question to you, Swastik. Tell me one green practice that you follow in your day-to-day life.
Yes, sir. Sir, I travel by metro wherever I can, and I avoid taking cabs or even driving across the city. So that is a green practice I follow. So I enjoy my travel, in fact, in the metro.
Okay, thank you, Swastik.
Thank you.
So, hello, Swastik. Thank you,
Good evening.
Satwik sir. You have a geology optional, right? So,
Yes.
have you heard about the term Delhi Supergroup?
Yes, sir, I have.
Tell me something about it.
Sir, Delhi Supergroup is associated with the Aravali Supergroup, like the Craton interior. And sir, I'm not able to sir, there is a Riolo formation within it. Sir, don't remember the exact series, sir.
All right, no issues. So, you
And,
mentioned Aravali and Craton.
yes,
Define Craton and tell me the age of Aravali mountain.
sir, cratons are the stable internal continental blocks that do not undergo a lot of change in terms of structure or rocks. Like it stays stable, and around it, like basins can develop, sedimentary basins and mountains on the fringes due to plate movements. And sir, about the age of the Aravallis, sir, I am not able to recall the exact number.
No issues. Tell me how were they formed? Like what were they when they were formed? When they were they full mountain or some other structure?
Sir, due to sir, I'll read about it.
Acha,
I
I'll tell you that they were full mountains. All right,
yes,
but there is no plate boundary there. Like Himalayas are full mountain, but you can see there is China, Eurasian plate, there is Indian plate. Something is happening, but there
yes,
is
sir.
no boundary near Aravalis. How were they formed?
Sir, full mountains are formed by the convergence of plates and plate boundaries. So,
Like that is
there
what
is an old
that is what I am saying. They are found by they're formed by convergence of boundary, and I
yes,
am saying that Aravali was a full mountain when it formed.
yes.
So, but there is no boundary.
So,
Can
because it is a very old mountain range, and like there have been further plate tectonic movements over it. So, the
all right.
apparent.
This is what I wanted to know, right? So, have you heard about seismic zones of India? How many zones do we have?
So, we have 5 zones.
Tell me what five.
Sir, sir, I should also talk about the reasons.
Just tell me the name of the zone. Are you sure there are five zone or there are four zone?
Sir, in the last zone, sorry, in the first zone, there is no place, like, but
There
it
is
is
no zone. Like there, we start with zone two now, right? Zone
yes,
two to zone five. So, in which zone does Delhi fall?
sir, in zone 4.
All right. So it is fairly seismic zone, right?
Yes.
So right. So Delhi is prone to earthquake, right? Maybe a massive earthquake. So is the city of Delhi ready for such earthquake? What the government has done is, are there any earthquake resistant structure or some policies is in place?
So, sir, Delhi as a city is not ready as a whole because there are communities and urban spaces where like there is no proper earthquake resistant structure. Like there are slums and even slum dwellings, ghettos, and even old buildings in Delhi from even pre-independence era, like in Chandni Chowk, where there is congested settlement. So these areas are not ready particularly. And sir, as far as earthquake resistant structures are concerned, so the new parliament building is said to be an earthquake resistant
No, no.
structure.
Like that is how many people reside in Parliament building, right? Delhi as a population. What is the population of Delhi?
The 2 crore approaching to
Over
two.
2 crore, right? At the NCR region. So, is there any policy in place by government? Is there any authority which look into this matter about this seismic audit, something like that? Do you know what is a seismic audit?
So seismic audit is like the investigation analysis of a building audited of a structure.
So,
Whether it can
who do this audit in India? Is there any authority?
be sir BIS, I'm not sure, sir. I'm making a
All
guess.
right, no issues, right? So, tell me, Swastik. uh, tell me some qualities of yours which would make you a good IFS officer.
Sir, I'm a compassionate person, and as a compassionate person, I like to take care of animals around my home and make choices, daily choices that do not impact the environment. So, sir, as a compassionate person, I can work with people for the environment, wildlife, so I can be open to making change in these spaces. Sir, apart from that, sir, I'm dedicated and committed because as an aspirant, like I've, despite several times not making it, I have been committed to the process. So, sir, persistent problems like forest fires and forests, which are persistent despite the best efforts, sir, I'll stay committed to resolving those problems or local tribal issues which keep coming up consistently.
All right. That
And
that is good. That is good, right? Satwik, can you define very briefly what is man-animal conflict and what animals in general are involved in this conflict?
so, man animal conflict involves the interaction of humans and animals for access to resources, common spaces, and to for livelihood survival on the human side, and for like accessing prey base or migration corridors for the animals. And this interaction causes harm to either the environment, the wildlife, or the humans. So, this is an animal conflict. And, sir, human leopard conflict, human elephant conflict, so human rhesus macaque conflict, and such some, these are some of the ones that are commonly in
Like
use.
in terms of number, country wise, with the whole country, which animals are involved most in such conflict? Tell me one, two, three.
Sir, human elephant and human leopard are very common. I don't know the exact numbers of the two, which is first and which is second, but these are the most common.
Have you read this somewhere in any official document, forest department website somewhere?
Sir, no, that's why I don't know the number. Based
Just
on the,
gut feel, right? Based on the newspaper reports, something like that.
yes, sir, because of the consistency of news reports.
All right. So we often have, like, there are other animals, right, which invades the agriculture field, right? There are snakes in central
Yes,
India, in the Western Ghat landscape, right? Then
yes,
there is
sir.
tiger, then other animals. So what I want to say is that and you just now you also mentioned, like, in the city of Delhi there is so much slums, there is so much poverty, there is so much overpopulation, right? And then there are these conflicts in other parts of the country as well. So what
Yes,
I want to tell you is that these animals are in a way very dangerous, especially the wild animals. All right.
yes,
So in that context, and in the context that our country is very much resource deficient, why we should put our resources to conserve these animals, right? What is the need to proactively conserve them and spend money on them?
yes, sir. Sir, as animals are classified as umbrella species, flagship species, so sir, they're directly related to the whole biodiversity surviving and thriving and providing us ecosystem services, like from keeping our air clean, which is also now a fundamental right that we can demand, and our water clean, sir, and
So
our
how animal ensure clean water, clean air?
sir, as a if I could take the example of the tiger, and sir, so tiger is a flagship and umbrella species both. Sir, then under the food chain that exists below, like the primary consumers and the producers and the vegetation, sir, that stays in control, like because of this food web. And sir, because of that, there's proper seepage and runoff is controlled, erosion is controlled, and so a number of the kind of diversity of biodiversity, the number, the quantum of trees, flora. So that is ensured
All right. So,
indirectly.
I expected a more specific answer, but it is all right, right? You maybe you can read more into it, right? So Astik, my last question to you before ending this session is, why Delhi is one of the not one of the is the most polluted capital in the world? What is the reason behind that? Is it the bad governance? It is the bad people? It is the geography? What is it?
So, sir, like you mentioned, because of the geography, climatologically, sir, in the winters, due to limited high pressure region being formed, and limited vertical intermixing of cold and hot.
But there are many other capital, Beijing, the European countries, they are all on the same latitude.
Yes,
So geography alone cannot be the reason
yes,
in global comparison.
yes, sir. So geography is alone not the reason, sir, because there are multiple states involved. So the governance aspect is also a difficult problem. Like Punjab and Haryana farmers, the governments could not like stop the farmers from incentivize them enough to stop stubble burning. And sir, the control across these states was difficult. Only now, recently, in the past couple of years, we formed CAQM to manage that issue. Sir, apart from that, because of the population as well, the ever increasing population density and the consequent traffic congestion, so that problem keeps increasing, and vehicular pollution adds to it, which is difficult to stop because India has a increasing young demography, and so population is also a major issue, which is unique. And sir, these are the aspects apart from
All right,
geographical.
all right, all right. So thank you, Swastik. It was nice talking.